talking to Natasha just now, she wants to improve as a defender this year. What steps have you seen her take just early in camp in that regard?
Well, I love hearing that because she's hungry to continue to grow, and she was a defensive player in the year in our league at one point in her career. So, I think the biggest thing for Tosh is just reestablishing that mentality. We're going to use her in a lot of different ways: her versatility, her length, her athleticism, her speed, her quickness, all of those things. And so just reframing that mentality of making things difficult, of using her speed and quickness, but also remembering the physicality, and then communication. Over communicating. She's one of the most experienced players on the floor, and because she can guard multiple positions, over communicate in areas that can help everybody else around her.
You're implementing a new defense. What do you find challenging about getting everybody on the new terminology on the same page as you guys get going?
I think more so than coverages, it's terminology. We do talking about things in a different way. Putting a little bit more ownership on them in coverages, and recognizing action and recognizing when you're beat, recognizing action before it happens as opposed to waiting until it happens. So all of those things. So I'd say terminology and anticipation. We use 3 A's: active, anticipate, and be aware. And that's the mindset that we have to have on the defensive end.
How do you balance so many new players, trying to get everybody reps, but also, hey, that core group also needs reps together?
That's hard. That's the hardest thing about this time of year. It's the hardest thing about training camp is, we use those first, 3 practices to really get everybody kind of ingrained in our base level of how we want to play. And we started focusing a little bit more on rotations today. And certainly after the weekend and after we have a couple of games, it'll tighten up even more and really trying to get, our core rotational players quality minutes together.
With a weird back-to-back in a preseason, have you thought about how you handle those minutes?
Yeah, it's tough. We're number one, of course we want to win, but more than anything, we've got to evaluate players that are on the fringe. We've got to make sure that we give them opportunities to showcase what they can do. We've got to work our rotations and put it together, but it is a back-to-back. And so we also have to make sure that we're conservative. It's early. So players aren't going to play as many minutes as people want to see them play. We're going to try different combinations. We just really want to get out there and see what it looks like against a different opponent.
Thinking ahead to Sunday, just kind of what do you anticipate that being like for both Caitlin and for the entire franchise?
I anticipate it being a little crazy. I think it's going to be exciting. I don't know. Back in the day when I was playing here, we played an exhibition at Purdue. And I remember it was so cool for me to be able to play for the Fever in Mackey Arena. And I can imagine it's going to be equally as cool for Caitlin to go back and play an exhibition, in Iowa City and in front of her Hawkeye fans. I didn't know there's no air conditioning. So we're going to have to work through that and make sure that we stay hydrated. But what an experience for those fans who might not be able to make it to any of our WNBA cities, to be able to watch our team, obviously to be able to support Caitlin, but to be able to watch our team and see them up close.
You mentioned the players on the fringe. I think Amber told us a few weeks ago that joining a competitive camp.
Yeah.
What traits or skills are you looking for when you're determining who's going to be on the back of that roster?
Yeah, certainly bringing it on the defensive end of the floor. Defensively, being able to knock down shots, being able to space the floor. How quickly can they pick up things that we're doing in camp? Whether that's actions, whether that's reads, communication. How quickly can they pick those things up? We've got a deep team, and it is probably one of the toughest rosters in the league to be able to make and to take a spot. So we don't want anybody to play outside themselves. We want them to do what they do best, but we want to see progress every day.